What's going on, guys? Mattio Daddio Mining here. Hope everyone is having a wonderful day. So what I have here is an HP workstation that I've had for, I don't know, 6, 8 months, somewhere in there. What I intended to do with this was I wanted to mine some Chia with it. I had some hard drives laying around, and I kind of wanted to get my feet wet with the Chia mining. I mean, it only has 4 bays here, but you know what? For what I had, it wasn't bad for me to start doing that. The problem is I never got around to it. I had extra hard drives, and then I had a problem with one of my servers over here. I lost like 5 or 6 servers in my home NAS, my home media server, and those hard drives ended up going in here to replace those. So, never got around to doing it. And sorry, don't mind my messy ass office. Yeah, what I plan to do with this guy is, while I have it, I figured, might as well put it to use. I figured let's use it as a headless workstation and let's set up some VMs with it. What I would like to do is be able to set up VMs for each of my core wallets. Originally, what I wanted to do that on my server, on my top server here. The bottom one is just a backup at the top, so I guess it really doesn't matter. But I have a VM set up on this one right now, but it's slower and shit. It's all on HDDs, and I would really love to get some SSDs in there. I just don't have any room left in that current setup. And what I would absolutely love to do is I would love to update this and get some type of 12-bay hot swappable case. And I would like to upgrade these. I think right now I have 48 terabytes in each of these. So I have 8 6 terabyte drives in the top and the bottom. Bottom one is just a mirror of the top. But what I would love to do is I would love to upgrade to 8 10 terabyte drives, and then the last 4 bays I would love to have 4 2 terabyte SSDs in there, so that I can have all my VMs on that. That would be my next goal as far as server type things go. But yeah, I priced that out recently, and yeah, that's like $3,000 I don't have right now. So, but yeah, so currently in this system I have a Xeon 4114 Silver. It's got 10 cores, 20 threads. So what I have a second one that I'll be throwing in. That is also a Xeon 4114 Silver. And I have 4 512 gigabyte drives. I'll be using those in a RAID configuration, of course. I mean, I know it's not a lot of space, but I really don't need much for a couple VMs here and there. I mean, for hard drive space for a VM, when you need like 30 gigabytes somewhere in there, so it's plenty for what I need to do. The one different one is playing with my OCD, though. I got these during Prime Day, and it would only let me buy 3 of these Lexar ones. So on the next, So in the next, we have the CPU that we already went over, and then we have 64 gigabytes of RAM. Definitely plenty of space in there for expansion, but this will suffice for now. The next, I have the CPU cooler for the second CPU, and this is going to play heavily on my OCD, but I'm going to try my best not to let it bother me. Obviously, it is not the same cooler. I could not find the cooler on the right. And this one, it's not even, the one on the left, it's not even the same size, but I'm trying not to let it bother me. I mean, it's just going to be a headless system sitting in a corner somewhere, so it really shouldn't bother me. But as long as it cools, I'll be okay with it, hopefully. I just didn't see the point in wasting that extra money just to, make them look the same. I mean, just this cooler alone was like $100, $120, so I really didn't want to replace the cooler if I didn't need to. So, anywho. So then here we have 2.5 to 3.5 adapter, because obviously you can't just take your SSD and just throw it in this caddy. It's not going to fit. So SSD will go in there, and then the adapter will go in the caddy, Caddy will go in here if I can get it. One-handed, it's kind of tough. There we go. Maybe. Okay. There we go. Caddy will go in there. Sheesh. You know, videoing one hand and doing things with your other hand is freaking difficult. Because, you know, half the time you don't know if you should actually be looking at what you're doing or if you should be looking at what you're doing through the camera. And then half the time you just end up splitting between the two and you make yourself look like an ass while you're doing it. So, yeah. Fun stuff. But, yeah, so that's what we're going to do. I still don't know what I'm going to put on this yet. I don't know if I'm going to do Proxmox on it or if I should do ESXi. But, yeah, I guess I better be making my decision here pretty quick because, yeah. So, let's get building. I'm gonna stop the montage just for that fart. Your fart is gonna be on YouTube. If you haven't noticed, my son is here with me, and he's farting as I'm putting together hard drives. Hard drives in. So I'm going to save you guys a whole bunch of video heartache right now. So I had a second CPU for here, and a couple seconds ago you saw the cooler that I had here. Well, I had a whole bunch of video with issues that I ran into getting that installed. I figured I would just save you the heartache and just tell you what the hell happened. So I no longer have the cooler. It's actually been probably a week and a half or 2 weeks since the first part of the video that you just saw. And the way that cooler was set up, I don't know if you can really see the CPU fan right there. There are 5 pins. Well, the cooler that I got only had 4 pins. I've actually never seen a 5-pin cooler anymore, so anywhere. So thank you, HP. Awesome. So the problem that I ran into was I could not get the second CPU to recognize at all. So I went back and forth. I took this one out and then tried the second CPU that I got, just to make sure that there was the CPU itself wasn't dead. I swapped everything back and forth. I tried that other cooler here, and I tried this cooler there, and just, it was a mess all over the place. And I'm thinking that since I only had 4 out of the 5 pins on that other fan, it wasn't actually recognizing that other fan in BIOS. Therefore, it wasn't recognizing the CPU either. I actually got the CPU to boot from this one with the other cooler. So I was like, okay, well, if that works, then I'm gonna take this one off here. I'm gonna move it over here. So if I take it directly off this way, move it over here, there's a fan cable. You can't even see it. There's a fan cable in there, and it's about like that freaking long, and it only makes it to like there. It doesn't make it the rest of the way. So my next thought was, okay, well, it would work if I turned this 180. And then the problem is that the fan here sits on top of this heat sink here, and then it doesn't make connection all the way to the CPU. So I did some research, and there is a specific CPU fan heatsink that is specific to this slot only, and that is different from this one. So I got on eBay and I did some searching, and I couldn't find one to save my life that was decently priced anyway. I mean, they wanted, I don't know, $250 for one of these things. And the thing is that they would say CPU one cooler, but it would look like this. And so I was like, okay, well, that's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So I found one that did say CPU one cooler. I asked the guy, okay, hey, is this an actual legit CPU one cooler, or is it one for CPU 0? Because CPU 0 cooler will not work on a CPU 1 slot. The cable won't reach, and you can't turn it around because the fan hits the frickin' heatsink. And I tried taking this fan off, and then taking this shroud off, and then spinning it to where I could actually move the fan on the other side and try to make it work that way, but the shroud won't fit back over the heatsink if I spin it. So anyways, I talked to the person I was buying it from, and he assured me, oh no, it is definitely a CPU 1, not a CPU 0. And well, I got it today. Bullshit. It is the exact same frickin' cooler. I was pissed. I'm still pissed. That is one of my biggest pet peeves, and I'm sure it is everybody else's biggest pet peeve. You wait for something, and not only you wait for something, and then you follow up with the person to make sure you're getting what you need, and they assure you, oh yeah, it's correct, and then you get this shit. Not to mention, it's been 2 weeks screwing with this thing. I already got one thing that doesn't, that wouldn't work in it correctly, so no. I'm just frustrated. So I purchased a different one that they had horrible pictures of this one. Like, you really couldn't tell. It totally could have been the one for this one, but you couldn't really tell. So I should have asked for more pictures, but instead I figured I would just ask for clarification. Well, the guy obviously didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. So I opened up a case with him on eBay trying to get this thing returned. Hopefully there won't be too much of a hassle there. I already ordered a replacement, so hopefully that one is right. It shouldn't be this hard to get a goddamn cooler. But anyways, that's my rant for the evening. I'm still trying to get a cooler on this. So we will continue on with the build. I've decided to go with Proxmox over ESXi. ESXi is going to start charging soon with subscription-based. So yeah, screw that. Proxmox it is. So I will continue with the build, and we can install this second CPU at a later time. It's not going to affect anything at all. So, yep, on with the video.
All right, well, that was super annoying. I actually did a whole bunch of video footage and got to the very end of showing you guys how to download and burn Proxmox onto a USB drive, and my computer decided to blue screen of death on me. So it was like right when it was the ISO was being verified. So I'm pretty sure everything is on there okay. I mean, here it is right here. I mean, it looks like everything is okay. I guess we'll find out here shortly. But I guess just to go through everything again. And all the links for everything will be down in the description. Sorry, guys, typing one hand as always. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to Downloads. You are going to go to Proxmox VE 8.0 ISO installer. Right here where it says BitTorrent. It is a torrent. You will need some type of uTorrent or BitTorrent or something like that. Some type of torrent software to download this. And then once you get it, you can use Balena Etcher. I did try using Rufus, and it didn't like it for some reason, so I don't know. But Etcher works fine. Okay, so flash from file, you're going to choose your ISO, then you're going to select your target, and then you're going to click flash. I already flashed it, so I'm not going to do that. So I will see you at the computer, and we will get this installed.
Okay, back at the machine. Let's give it a shot. Nope. I had a 50-50 chance. Damn it. Every time. Okay. Power it on, and let's see if we can boot from it. And if you're on an HP machine, it's going to be F9 to boot into whatever drive. Okay, getting into the boot menu. Okay, I'm going to boot from that guy right there. Proxmox. We're going to install. I'll be right back with you once this is done. Okay, finally here. I thought it was an issue with the USB, but that is not the case. So I had a generic GPU in there, and it turns out it wasn't liking the GPU, so I threw a 6700 XT in there. I'm actually really surprised this is working, because most of the time, for all I knew, is the only GPUs. I mean, this device is super GPU specific for what works for. Usually, it's like the RTX Quadro cards, or like the A6000s, A4000s, cards like that. Yeah, so I don't know. I'll have to do maybe a little bit more research on that. But I popped the 6700 XT in, and it, as you can see, it appears to be running. We're at the EULA. So let's agree. Okay, let's see, what do we got? Okay, so target drive will be, so I have two Kingston drives in here. They're both 240, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a RAID in them, so just in case I lose one, I still have everything up. What are these options? Oh, okay, so that's my RAID option. So I'm going to do I'll just do, yeah, let's do a mirror. Just do RAID 1. It's fine. I do not want to use. I only want to use my Kingston drives. I do not want to use any of my other devices. Okay, so RAID 1 and just my two 240 gigabyte Kingston drives. Okay. And then next down here, country, United States. And closest to Chicago. Okay, next.
This is already one need.
And next, host name, we'll just call it Proxmox. And that's fine. That's fine. Oops. Forgot the .local. Okay, that all looks good. And install. Okay, I'll be back with you once this installs. Okay, we are at the login screen. So now we can access this from the web browser. So I just need to connect to that IP address there at that port. And we should be all good to go. So I'll see you back on my computer.
And we are back on my computer. So before we really get going any further, the last part that I posted, I had an IP address for my Proxmox server. I think it was like 192.168.100.2 or something like that. Yeah, I kind of screwed up. I forgot to plug in a Ethernet cord to the server, and it just threw in some random ass IP address. Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking, but yeah, 192.168.100 is it's not the right VLAN. So yeah, I had to make a couple of changes, so I ended up changing it to 192.168.1. If I could type 5457, and then port 8006. Okay, so oh my God, Keeper, you're annoying. I love Keeper. Don't get me wrong, but it's like, you know, when I don't really want to set up a password for it, like it just always shows up like that. It pisses me off. I'm sure there's a way to change it. I'm just too lazy to look it up. So okay, so let's get into Proxmox. Oops. Again, helps if I can type. Go away. Okay, so, and this is normal right here. You do not have a valid subscription for the server. Please visit proxmox.com to get a list of available options. What this is pretty much telling you is if you wanted to buy the enterprise level version of Proxmox, which, no, we're not going to do. So just hit OK. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure all of my hard drives are actually being seen. So it's around here somewhere. Disks. Okay, so yep, there are 4 of them. And I was farting around with this a little bit earlier before I started recording, and this one right here, it was not showing up. And I don't know if there was something going on with my caddy that pushes in and locks it, like the hotspot bay caddy. It wasn't showing up as soon as I took it out of that and then just inserted it myself, it appeared. So I don't know if it's not allowing it to go in far enough to make a full contact with the SATA port. I'm not sure. But, hey, it's there. So what we need to do now is we need to set these hard drives up in a pool. Okay, next thing we're going to do is we're going to click on our Proxmox node, come down here under disks, click on ZFS. We are going to create some storage for our servers. So we're going to click on Create ZFS, give it a name. I'm going to call mine Tank. And then I'm going to do RAID 10. For some reason, RAID Z will not work with my controller. So I'm going to click on RAID 10. Then we're going to add our drives. Click Create. I should have, I think, roughly like a terabyte or so of storage when I'm done. Okay. Yep, 1 terabyte. There we go. And that is going to about wrap it up for this one. This video is starting to get to a little bit longer than I would like it. So I will do the actual setup of a VM on the next video. So I will see you guys then. Everyone have a wonderful night, and we'll see you next time.